Welcome everybody to the final game here of Week 4 in the WDL, the World Doom League. I'm going to be your host and your broadcaster here for this game, Ralphus, and give you a little rundown. We should be starting this game pretty shortly, so we'll give you a quick rundown of both teams. Both teams are in playoff contention at the moment, and they're both in a pretty similar spot. They're both sitting at 5 points right now. The advantage goes to the Super Shotgun Spurs, who are in 5th place because they actually have a win. Los Mains, they have 5 points, but they have no wins. They have a loss and 2 ties. And those 2 ties netted them 4 points, and a 3-round loss gave them 1 point for their 5th point. So both teams in a position to get into the playoffs here. This is basically a playoff game in the fact that, you know, this is going to clinch a spot for one of these teams. So an important game, the last game of this week as we head into the final week of the regular season here. Both teams looking not so awesome recently. The Super Shotgun Spurs, they won the first week, then they lost the next 2, and last week was not super great for them, but they're looking to rebound here. Hate Daddy, Ed, Azriel are the typical starters for this team. There could be a possibility that we'll see Tech this season, especially if they win this game, but I wouldn't expect to see him start tonight. Hate Daddy, an accomplished captain, been playing for a very long time, well over 15 years of competitive experience. He's been in the league since the early IDL back in 2008, I want to say. Maybe a little bit later than that, but he was definitely around at that point in time. Ed actually has a playoff victory on this map, and that was 2 seasons ago here in the WDL, so he might be able to do something. And Azrael is a capable, proven third, so it'll be curious to see where he sets up. We've seen him do a lot of defense, but we've also seen him run, so not sure which side of the map he's going to end up on. On the Los Main side, we have Ty, who's been around since the very first IDL season, all the way back in 2007, so he's probably one of our most accomplished captains. And Chain, also been around since that first season. Combined experience, Los Main probably has more experience than any other team in the league this season. And it'll be interesting to see if they're able to capitalize on that and make a playoff run here. I had the opportunity to play some practice with them before this game started up, and they looked pretty good. So we'll see how they compete with the Super Shotgun Spurs here. Dranzer, also good, but I think we might see Legion start this game. So not sure what the lineup for Los Mains is going to look like. They've been kind of cycling players in and out all season. Chain has not played certain weeks. I think he's going to start tonight, so it'll be interesting to see. In terms of who's doing well in the league and who's going to be a big playmaker this game, none of these players... Oh, actually, Legion is in the top 10 rat for the league this season. He's number 8 with 106 rat, so we'll look to him to make some big plays, hopefully kind of drag his team through to a win here. The server's in intermission right now. Once it comes out, we're going to take a look at the map, but both teams are starting to show up. Los Mains is ready in the server, and we are just waiting for SGS to show up. I think they're wrapping up their final practice game here. Take a look at the betting lines. If you haven't heard about our betting, WDL has a betting bot. It's not real money, it's fake money, but every week you get a little refresher, some new money in your pocket to bet on these games. It's all in fun, and usually it's pretty indicative of who's going to win a game. So taking a look at it right now, the current line is 74% of money is on Los Mains, 26% on SGS, with a $73,000 pool. So a lot of money on this one as people are looking to get ahead here in the final week. Right now in the standings as far as betting goes, Tigerians number 1 overall with 62,696 WDL bucks, followed by the Sparrow, Human Bones, Ninja Dog, and Skull Rush. And thank you to Wright for making this awesome betting bot that we use in the Doom Central Discord. So we'll take a look at this map real quick while we wait for SGS to show up. If you weren't able to see the earlier games, pretty simple map. It's a small map. You can see actually both flags. There's the red flag, and then out off there in the distance is the blue flag. It's very open. There's some obstacles in the middle to use as cover, but relatively open. From the flag stand, you can exit the base either down these steps. You could jump out, or the other options are that you can make this trick jump over to here, but you do have to hit this kind of straight on so that you don't lose your momentum when you hit this ledge, so that you can kind of make this jump over here, because a lot of players, they'll run it diagonally and then they're not able to make the jump over the ledge. So that's one of the moves you could do. Another possible one is you could have a player here hit this switch, drop these bars to the floor, and then you could exit this way. Another possible path you could take is over this ledge here. You can jump up here, another trick jump, and then you can get to the top back path. You're going to see this path a lot in standoffs when both teams have the enemy flag. A lot of players tend to come up here because they have an option to either leave through these bars. There's 45 health here, 25 for the big medkit, 10 for the smaller. Sometimes you'll see players hang out down here. Rarely, but sometimes they will. And sometimes players will also try to kind of hide here and use this wall. You'll probably see some of that this game. I expect this to be a heavy-hitting game. A lot of fraggers on both teams. And both teams need the win. So, right now, Los Main's complaining because, and rightfully so, that SGS is not here yet. So if you're watching the stream and you have any thoughts, who do you think is going to win this? Is it going to be Los Mains or the Super Shotgun Spurs? And if you've watched anything else this season, who's your favorite team? Who do you think is going to make a splash in the playoffs? So we're still waiting for the other team to show up. And while we wait for them, we can maybe quickly take a look at the standings for the season right now. So right now, these are the standings as they currently are, with every game played this week except for this one. So Sawyer for Plex right now in the lead with 13 points. That's going to be big for them if they're able to lock up the final week here, get a win, go in. They're going to get a bye in the first week. The first and second teams will be getting the week off in week 6 as the 3 through 6 teams play each other. And it looks like they're going to get started up, so we'll jump back to the game. We'll take another look at that at the conclusion of this game right here. So taking a look at which players for which teams are in. Looks like we're going to be starting with Ty, Chain, and Legion, who is in game as Wigs Inc. Because I don't know why. I don't know why people sign up with one name and play with another. They're not supposed to do it, but I can't control these people. They're animals. So, Ty, Chain, and Legion, and it looks like we're going to have... well, we're waiting on Hate Daddy, the captain of SGS, to show up. We have Dr. Noob, also known as Ed, another animal that can't be tamed or reasoned with, to use their actual name in game. And we see Tech in game, and we've never actually seen Tech play a game. If he is to start this, and he is in there right now, this would be his debut in the WDL. So I'm interested to see how he's going to perform here. Could be exciting. This is definitely a rough map to make your WDL debut on, though. It's kind of hard to have a teammate protect you on this map. We saw that earlier. There's just so much activity that happens here compared to certain other maps that are played. Just constant flag grabs, just because you could see it's just so close. You know, right here, boom, you're across. You hit the ground, you're up the steps, you're at the other flag. So you're going to see a lot of pushing, a lot of running. Defenders are going to be on their toes at all times. We saw earlier, if you tuned into the Panthers game, Panthers versus Best Ever, the Panthers defender, Toby, who was playing very well, but occasionally he was on defense and he would kind of cheat up out of his base here, kind of move up out of mid to help his teammates. And what would happen is that the runner for best ever, typically Ross King, would kind of take one of these outside paths where he can't see him. He would sneak in, he would get the flag, and by the time he realized that his flag was taken, he was already out. So defenders at a very in a very precarious position here on this map. Not a lot of room to experiment, I guess. You need to just be on top of what's going on. So sounds like the captain of SGS is just restarting his computer right now. I guess he's having some sort of technical issues. But we should be getting started very, very shortly. And while we wait, if you're a new viewer, make sure you follow us here on Twitch, because we will eventually be able to do all sorts of cool stuff if we get enough followers. Twitch does not let you do certain things unless you have a certain amount, so as I do every stream, I'm going to beg you to follow. And then you'll be alerted to every WDL game we stream, and there's going to be a lot of those coming up, especially as we get into the playoffs here. Alrighty, so it looks like the Super Shotgun Spurs lineup is here. It's Hate Daddy, Dr. Noob, also known as Ed, and Tech, who is going to be making his WDL debut. So we're going to just watch Tech right off the bat and see which position he's playing. We're probably not going to stay on him for long because someone's going to grab a flag and we're going to move around, but it should be interesting to see. Just a reminder, Los Mains is going to be on blue. The Super Shotgun Spurs are going to be on red. And they're going to get started. So
red flag return. Blue flag dropped.
And the game is going to begin right now. So, as promised, we're going to take a look at Tech here, who's starting the game. Looks as though they've put him on defense. He's immediately beaten by the veteran Chain defender, but Tech does get a respawn and is able to kill Chain. So Tech on defense here is going to be a tall order. Be interesting to see how they decide to move players around. Right now, Hate has the flag, the enemy flag. He's trying to make that trick jump, but as we showed you in the pregame, going at that at an angle, not usually a good way to go about it. Right now, Chain on his own side with the flag. He was able to make the jump. We did not see it on camera, but he was able to make the trick jump, get back over to his side. And he's taken down by Ed. But Legion has a flag, he gets a return, and he scores. So Legion, top 8 player in the league right now, gets the first flag here in the first minute. We're going to keep watching Legion, who's in a little battle here with Dr. Noob. But Dr. Noob gets him on the respawn. Right now, Hate has a flag, he's across, but he's unable to get that support that he needs in mid. He's going to go for another one, but he runs into 2 defenders. Meanwhile, Chain runs into 2 defenders of his own, but he's going to try right back at it here. So Chain is going to be the player that's kind of blistering for these flag runs. Right, and Chain gets a great kill on the player chasing his own teammate. He's able to kill Dr. Noob and return the flag, and both flags are out still. Hate gets the pickup. He's looking for a return, but he doesn't get it. And Legion puts the second flag on the stand for Los Mains. So looking good for Los Mains here. 2 minutes in, they've already scored 2 flags. If they can just keep scoring 1 per minute, they're going to be punching their ticket to the playoffs and putting the Spurs in a very rough position. As we will shortly hit the quarter mark here, 7:40 on the clock. It's 2-0 in the first round for anyone just joining us. Chain is dropped. He's unable to make it across mid. We're just going to keep watching Chain for a minute here because he's getting a lot of quality touches. He tries to make the jump, but Legion Wigs Inc. drops him, but he goes back for it. Goes back to that same well, gets across, gets that 45 health, grabs another stim pack for 55 health, and puts it on the stand real easily. And we're going to take a look at Tech here, who currently is trying his best. He's lowest in frags. He goes for a run. He's not really surveying the field. He's not really doing something that you would expect from a veteran player, where they're kind of looking to the left and right at all times. He's kind of focused in, tunnel vision on his task. And it takes time. These players have been playing for, in some cases, this is our 27th, 28th season, so this is his first game ever. Some of these players have played, nearly 100 games at this point. And that doesn't count all the practices and everything else over the years. So a big rocket jump there by Chain Dude. You were able to see it from Tech's point of view, where he kind of left him in the dust, and Ty's able to pick the flag up, put it on the stand. Lewis Main's up 4-0 here with 6 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. SGS is really going to have to turn it around. And right now, Ed trying to make a run. He's unable to get all the way, but valiant effort. Chain Dude with another grab. He makes it over. Chain Dude is really hitting that trick jump. Better than others that I've seen this week. Very fluid movement from Chain. He always has had it. He misses it there, but he goes down to the floor, which can be to your benefit, because now you've pulled the defender off of the platform. They're going to be pursuing, and this could be it for the first round, and it is. So just like that, pretty quick. About a half a round worth of play, and you can see that right now Tech is sorry about that, we got a baby out in the crowd here. Tech is trying his best, but 16 frags on defense is going to be tough when you're going against experienced players like Los Main, and they're just going to probably have to either move him around for the second round, or they're going to have to make some sort of change, because they kind of left Tech on an island, and he's just not going to be able to stop these experienced players. He's new to this, so something for them to think about. I'm sure they're talking about it here during this little minute intermission. What do you think? Do you think there's any chance that SGS turns this around, or is this going to be a two-rounder? And already Chain has grabbed the flag, but he is taken down. Right now it looks like Dr. Noob, well, I was going to say it looks like he might have switched to defense, but here he goes. He's out here supporting Hate. And we're going to watch Dr. Noob, as who I consider to be possibly the MVP. At least 2 seasons ago, or last season. They're already scored on. Los Main's up 1-0. It's possible the play here may have been to put Tech on offense. Let the experienced fraggers play defense, and let another one play the middle, where he could help Tech with the runs. Because right now Tech has 1 frag, already a minute into the game. It's just going to be tough to win games like that. So, both flags at home, 8:36 on the clock. If you're just joining us, this is the second round. Oh, that's wrong. SGS did not win the first round. And they're probably not going to win the second round either. Let's throw it up again. Los Mains won the first round. They're on pace to win the second round. Already 3-0, 8:15 on the clock. This could be a quick one. So 2 minutes have passed here in the second round. And Los Mains is over with another flag, and they're just pouring it on. It's just a clinic at this point. Right now, the frag difference is growing. Just not a lot of help here for the defense of SGS. Possibly a strategical error coming into this game, as Chain just ripped them open and destroyed them. And that's it. Wow, that's possibly the second fastest WDL game ever. Yeah, so Los Mains, they lock it up in 2 rounds here. A really quick one. I think we spent more time talking about this game than they did playing it. And, that's a tough loss for the Spurs. Tech is a new player. He needs to be put in a position to succeed. And I'm not sure that he was here today. So, some issues with the Spurs. They're still in playoff contention. But not looking super great right now. So, Los Mains, good for them, right? They punched a ticket to the playoffs, and we'll take an opportunity here to look at the standings. We'll refresh them. The game standings should be up here shortly, thanks to Blair. And he has updated the standings. So the current standings in the league as they are at the end of week 4, 1 week to go. Let's turn this sound down here. One week to go. Sorry for Plex. First place. What looks to be a 3-way tie for second, but it's actually not. Right now, it would be the Walking Toilets would be in second place. Osas Ogapegua is actually in third place, and Best Ever is in fourth place because they only have 2 wins. Fifth place, we have Los Mains, thanks to that 4 points they just got. And rounding them out is the Super Shotgun Spurs, who were just unable to get any points, sitting at 5 points in the 6th spot. Outside looking in, Rip and Tear. They have a chance to make a playoff push here, possibly this next week, probably. And unfortunately for the Sexual Panthers, they are out, as today they were unable to get any rounds won, and the most points they can get at this point are 4, so they are out. Let's take a look at the final week here. So we got the Super Shotgun Spurs versus Best Ever. That's a must-win game. If they want a chance, if they win, you're in. If you can win this game in 2 rounds, the Super Shotgun Spurs will have a playoff spot. The Panthers versus Los Mains. The Rip and Tear is going to be rooting for the Panthers here because, well, actually, no, that game's not really going to matter to them. So, this is just going to be about pride. Can the Panthers actually win a round? Or are they going to end with 0 points? Nobody wants to do that. So, and Los Mains, they can make a push here to possibly get a bye, depending on how the other games pan out. They're going to need a little bit of help, though. And one way they can get that help is if Rip and Tear is able to beat TWT, the Walking Toilets, in 2 rounds. Rip and Tear would possibly get into the playoffs, depending on what happens with that Best Ever Super Shotgun Spurs game, where they're going to need a Best Ever win. And possibly a battle for first overall. Sawyer for Plex versus Osas Ogapegua. If Sawyer for Plex wins this, they get the number 1 seed. They get home field advantage for the entire playoffs. Looks good for them. So these games aren't scheduled yet, but they will be soon. And check out doomleague.org. Go to the Matches tab. You can get an idea of when these games are going to play. They're usually up by Tuesday. Take a look at the results of this game we just saw, just to get an idea of, as you can see, it's just kind of lopsided here. You saw that on the stream, 5-0, 5-0. Los is able to take it home easily. You really can see the combo of just 32 seconds in, Legion scores with his own assist. Then 19 seconds later, Chain scores. And then 40 seconds later, Chain scores again with an assist by Legion. And then Chain's right back at it again, 4-second run. That was one of the rocket jumps. And then he caps it off with a 6-second run. So Los Mains finally gets their first win. They're looking better. They're sitting at 1-1-2 down here. And they're in the playoffs. So we at least know that Sawyer for Plex, the Walking Toilets, Best Ever, Osas Ogapegua, and Los Mains, they are in the playoffs. Super Shotgun Spurs, as it stands, they could be in the playoffs. Rip and Tear is going to need to win, and they're going to need to hope that the Spurs don't. Now, one key thing that we want to mention here is that Rip and Tear's one win is over the Super Shotgun Spurs. So if they tie in points, Rip and Tear is going to win that tiebreaker, and they're going to move into that 6th spot. So the safest way for the Super Shotgun Spurs to make the playoffs is to win in 2 rounds. If they win in 2 rounds, they're in. But if they end up in a tie with Rip and Tear, they're out. So with all that said, we'll wrap this stream up. Thank you for tuning in for week 4 here. We got 4 more games this regular season, and then we're going to move into the playoffs. Going to be 5 playoff games, and we'll see what those all look like pretty soon. So remember to follow the Doom Central Twitch channel that you're watching right now. Head over to the Doom Central YouTube. You can watch previous games there. Head to the Doom Central Discord, and you can bet on these games. And we'll see you next week. So thanks for tuning in for all these exciting games, and can't wait to finish out the season strong.